Welcome to The Advocates. I'm Aaron Dean. The war between Israel and Hamas has now claimed more than 2,600 lives on both sides. Students on university and college campuses across the country are weighing in, holding pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian rallies on campus. At Harvard, a group of student organizations signed a letter critical of Israel, calling on Harvard to take action to stop the ongoing annihilation of Palestinians. Some students withdrew their signature. One doctoral candidate studying Jewish history says that the statement made many Jewish students feel less safe.
This was a small-scale Holocaust. The butchery, the savagery, the kidnapping, the rape, the sheer gleeful joy at machine gunning whole Jewish families. And we think surely every student, every teacher, no matter their political affiliation, should condemn this, should find this so horrific they can barely open their mouths. And what do we find? Fellow students at Harvard excusing this, justifying this. And on other campuses as worse. University of California, Berkeley, they were celebrating this. They think this is a great idea and a great event. The fact that our fellow colleagues and students could think that, the fact that they would excuse the murder of our families and eventually us as well, this, I don't think, makes the Harvard campus a safe place at the moment for Jews. Harvard must address this.
The university has distanced itself from the student group, saying that no student group speaks for the university or its leadership. There are now calls for Harvard to release the names of students behind the letter. First Lady Jill Biden invited more than a dozen teen leaders to the White House to celebrate International Day of the Girl. They are being added to the Girls Leading Change list. Recipients were chosen by the White House Gender Policy Council for lending change and shaping a brighter future in their communities. Among the 15 who were honored, a 16-year-old girl from New York City who is working to combat anti-Semitism in the U.S. The First Lady praised the group for working to make a difference.
And you're never too young to fight for what you believe in. We need your insight and your innovation, your strength and your hope right now.
Young adults and Black Americans in big cities are more likely to visit an emergency room for an assault. Now that's according to a new report from the National Center for Health Statistics. They tracked down data from hospital visits between 2019 and 2021. When broken down by race, the assault rates were higher for Black people. The study found urban areas to have over twice the rate of assault-related ER visits as in rural areas and smaller cities. There's a new effort to ban conversion therapy in the U.S., and ahead of National Coming Out Day, more than 28 organizations penned a joint statement to say no to this type of conversion effort. Jim, I'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the United States joint statement and its work surrounding conversion therapy?
Okay. The U.S. joint statement to prevent conversion efforts. Let me give a little word about terminology, okay? Guy and I are both mental health professionals, and our colleagues and I don't want to dignify conversion therapy by calling it therapy, or reparative therapy by calling it therapy. So we call it reparative efforts, or XK efforts, or gender identity change efforts, or sexual orientation change efforts, okay? So we don't want to dignify it by calling it therapy, but we understand if other people do, and we just want to get out the message about how harmful it is. And about 8 years ago, to answer your question, Guy and I were noticing how horrible it was that across the country, people were suffering because of so-called conversion therapy. So we joined together to reach out to different associations across the country and bring them together to create a consensus educational initiative to prevent conversion efforts or so-called conversion therapy, and to promote affirming LGBT healthcare.
And Guy, there are 22 states that have protections against these types of efforts. Where are you all seeing the biggest hotspots for this practice in America right now?
Well, I think actually it's interesting you asked that because the biggest hotspots is throughout the U.S. and throughout the world. Um, I don't think there are any limitations, so to speak, even if the laws have been passed in certain states. Um, those laws are limited because in some states, in most states, they apply only to minors. And in some states, in addition to the 22 that you mentioned, there are some states where they have passed laws that affect how public insurance systems will be used, and that uh, the law states that public insurance cannot be used for conversion efforts. So the limitations are just not global, so to speak, so that anybody who's not a mental health practitioner can promote that they do conversion therapy, so-called conversion therapy, um, and um, and pastors, ministers, people of that nature can also do so-called conversion efforts.
If I can jump in here, we've just heard today from one of our colleagues that in Nebraska, they're requiring anyone who's going to go through gender identity treatments, to be changed, to get medical treatment or to get healthcare treatments to change their gender identity to the true gender identity that they feel that they are. The state of Nebraska is going to require them to undergo some form of therapy. And we think that that's going to subject them to conversion efforts, so-called conversion therapy.
This National Coming Out Day, the USJS is partnering with 28 medical and psychological organizations to, come up against these efforts. What do these partnerships, with these different organizations, what does it say about ending such a harmful practice?
To have an ethical and educational framework within their association so that they are constantly educating their members about the dangers of conversion efforts and the importance of affirming healthcare. And they're also letting the public know about the dangers of it and the importance of having affirming healthcare. Okay.
And Guy, how will this partnership raise awareness about the dangers of this type of this practice and its context in today's political landscape with as we know, over 500 plus anti-LGBTQ bills that have been proposed in 2023 alone?
That's right, yes. And that's why we really appreciate your work because you're helping us spread the word out there so that the USGS can be made public. It is a consensus statement so that really there's power in numbers here. So that we're saying that 28 professional associations have come together to say, we got to stop this. And so that is one of the reasons why we it's the main reason why we started this effort is to get the power in numbers to show that this is dangerous and harmful.
Yeah, and hopefully the USJS will be used in legislative actions because, as you already mentioned, there's only 22 states that have bans against conversion efforts for minors. That's only for minors, not everybody.
Thanks so much for watching The Advocates. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to stream us live, and you can even subscribe to our YouTube channel. For The Advocates, I'm Aaron Dean.